Today I want to analyze the demos of Resident Evil 2, the original version. I say demos because there were actually more than one type of demo that was made for RE2, and you'll be surprised to see how many differences there are between each of them and the full version. I have both copies of the international version and the Japanese demo, and I always prefer to play them on the console rather than to try to use an emulator, just in case, because emulators can include characters clipping or certain bugs. And if I spot them when I'm playing them on a console, then at least I'd know that it wasn't a bug from the ROMs. Also, I wanted to experience these demos with the first PlayStation controller to get the closest experience that the devs wanted us to experience them with. Now, let's begin with the international version that was released with Resident Evil the Director's Cut. You can only play as Leon. Claire is only mentioned by the end of the demo, and even though locations still appear the same, most items are placed in different spots. If you open up the inventory menu, you can see that Leon has a different picture icon. I'm not sure why they would change it for the full game. It's not like he's unrecognizable. In the full game, he sports his RPD outfit, but in the demo image, he's wearing an ordinary shirt, which I actually prefer because this was his first day as an officer of Raccoon City, so it makes sense if his picture icon was still him in his civilian attire. Now, if we were to count his backstory from the Chinese manhwa series of Biohazard 2, then I also would have accepted his military outfit, but that's definitely non-canon. Once you reach the Kendo gun shop, you get the same interaction with Robert Kendo, but his voice sounds slightly different.
Freeze! Who are you? What are you doing here?
Hold your fire! I'm a human!
Sorry about that. I thought you were one of them.
What's going on in this town?
Hold on. I don't have a clue. By the time I noticed something was wrong, the entire city was infested with zombies. Freeze! Who are you? What are you doing here?
Hold your fire! I'm a human!
Sorry about that. I thought you were one of them.
What's going on in this town?
Hold on. I don't have a clue. By the time I noticed something was wrong, the entire city was infested with zombies.
I think it's the same voice actor, so it must have been a different take than the one that we see in the full game. In the full game, there are 2 packs of ammo you can find, and in the demo, not only did they include 2 packs of ammo, but they also threw in a first aid spray, which is quite understandable seeing as the game starts you off surrounded by multiple zombies. So chances are that you would have taken plenty of damage if this was your first time playing it. It should have been since it was the demo, right? Now, one thing I don't quite understand is why there's a typewriter on top of a crate where you'd find a pack of ammo here in the full game. This is just the very start of the game, and yet there's a typewriter in this early location. And since this is a demo, you can't use the typewriter either. Perhaps that's why the devs decided to remove it, since they too must have realized that it was a bad location to place the typewriter in. When Robert Kendo gets attacked, in the full game he shoots a zombie before being eaten alive. And it's pretty cool because he'll blow off an arm from a zombie, showing that they don't even flinch when losing an arm. In a way, I'd say it's a demonstration of how these things are. But in the demo, he does not shoot a zombie, so I'm glad they improved this in the full game. You can still pick up his shotgun, so that's an option here. Speaking of weapons, the handgun here holds up to 15 rounds, whereas the handgun in the full version holds up to 18 rounds. And as for the shotgun, in the demo it holds up to 7 shells, but in the full version it holds up to 5. Once you go through the back door of the gun shop, this is where we get an early taste of the Resident Evil 2 remake. The zombies behind the fence door leading through a basketball court and onto the streets will not be forced open by zombies. Instead, the gun shop van that's parked further ahead will be missing, and a trash container will be in its place. So you climb over it, and suddenly you'll be in the location where you reached the police station already. When I first saw that the vehicle was missing and we instead got to climb over the trash container, I thought I was actually going to witness a new set of locations that were removed from the full game, possibly giving us some of the pre-rendered backgrounds that were only part of the prototype known as Resident Evil 1.5. But unfortunately, it was just a shortcut to the police station, completely removing the city streets like they did with the remake of RE2. The outside area of the police station is the same as it is in the full game, but you won't find a green herb in the bushes to the far left side of the entrance. And you can't access the secret camera angle that appears in front of the entrance doors by wasting a handful of bullets like with the full game. Once you enter the police station, examining the old fountain will give you different text. Instead of saying, "It's an old fountain, something is written here. To obtain the key to open your heart, I'll wait for the unicorn, the beautiful beast." It'll read, "An old fountain, it's bone dry." When reaching the location of the first liquor, the letter P is etched beneath the keyhole of the door. Also, when you encounter the creature, there won't be a cinematic cutscene revealing it. When you enter this room, Marvin will not be in the same spot as in the full game. In fact, he won't be seen in this demo at all. You'll only encounter a few zombies, but you'll also find a shotgun in one of the lockers and a precinct key with the letter P etched beneath the keyhole. The meeting or conference room uses a track from Resident Evil 1.5, probably one of my favorite differences since the soundtrack of 1.5 is underrated. Like with the full version, you can use a lighter to burn the frame above the fireplace to obtain the red jewel. On your way to the STARS room, you'll encounter zombies like with the full version, and once you find the L key in the STARS room, Ada Wong appears by surprise, and the game fades to black. You'll then be greeted by the following message, and by a jump scare of a zombie from the front cover of the international game. Since the STARS room becomes the location of where you meet Ada for the first time here, it does make you wonder if this really was the original location you'd end up meeting her at. Perhaps it was back when this game was still using the storyline from 1.5, but I feel like the developers only threw her in this area to simply end the demo and not because it was a location we'd end up meeting her. But if it was, then maybe this was done because Claire gets to meet Sherry this early, so perhaps Leon would end up meeting Ada this early as well. Moving on to the next demo disc. The demo disc of Biohazard 2 also included a trailer for Breath of Fire 3 and a playable demo of Rockman Neo, also known as Mega Man Legends. Pretty cool, isn't it? Now let's take a look at the Japanese demo known as Biohazard 2 The Trial Edition. When it came to playing through this demo, there weren't really any differences I spotted as it plays exactly the same as the international version. However, this was released first before the international version, and there's actually one big difference you'll notice in the upstairs area of the police station where the statue holds the second red jewel. It turns out that the door with the broken hole in the bottom is placed in a different spot, and it does not appear to be damaged either. When working on this puzzle, I experienced a glitch when moving the gray statue, but it wasn't a big deal since you could just leave that area, come back, and they'd be placed in the same spots as before. It's surprising though that the broken door that cannot be opened would be placed in a different spot without a hole in the bottom. This tells me that it was probably a little closer to the police station's original design from 1.5. When analyzing the door, I believe it says that the knob turns but the door won't open. Aside from this door, nothing else appears to be different from the international demo of RE2. After doing some research, it turns out that there was yet another demo version that was released, but this one would only be obtained by purchasing a PlayStation magazine, as a specific issue would end up including a disc full of demos, and Resident Evil 2 was one of them. I tried searching for any footage regarding this version, and I found a video that contained one big difference that would not be included with the other demos I've played through. This demo would include Marvin Branagh, and the interaction between him would be vastly different.
Oh, man. Who are you? Oh, you must be the new guy. Leon. Sorry, but It looks like your party has been cancelled.
What happened?
About 2 months ago, there was this incident involving zombies in a mansion located in the outskirts of this city. Chris and the other STARS members discovered that Umbrella was behind everything. They risked their lives to reveal the truth, but no one believed them. Not long after that, all this started to happen.
Easy there.
I don't think I'm going to make it. Leon, if I die, you have to shoot me in the head. If you don't, I'll become one of them. You can't let that happen.
Don't talk like that. Hey!
I believe this version could also be the one that includes the severed head of the officer that was attacked by the first Licker we encounter. This is something I'm sure we can all agree that should have been included, especially since we just saw a headless corpse of an officer seconds before meeting this Licker. If his head is missing and there's blood dripping from the ceiling up ahead, then it only makes perfect sense to include the head dropping before witnessing the Licker. Plus, I could only imagine what my reaction would have been as a kid experiencing this section for the first time. But as I dug through more footage based on early showings of this game, when it was being demonstrated at a convention, you can see that the reveal of the officer's head was supposed to be shown at a different angle. Why did it go through 2 different takes before ultimately being scrapped? As you can see, these demos had quite the differences which many players such as myself never knew about. I've always wondered what the story for Resident Evil 1.5 was meant to be like, but now I'm starting to wonder what was the second take for Resident Evil 2 meant to be like. Was it more gory? Did other characters get killed off sooner or meant to appear earlier or experience a different fate? These questions might never be answered, but it sure adds more mystery to the original Resident Evil 2. That's it for the video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button to give this video a chance to grow. I'd like to thank all my Patreon supporters for their impeccable generosity. Your support means a lot to me, and you are part of the reason why I try to make the best content that I can. And if you like this content, check out the rest of my channel. You'll find more entertainment from separate franchises I like to cover, such as Mortal Kombat, Dragon Ball Z, Celebrity Deathmatch, Men in Black, The Mask, Batman comics, The Terminator, TMNT, Dino Crises, Resident Evil, and more. If you're a Patreon supporter, check out my exclusive videos such as the Gantz content. And if you'd like to show your support, go to my Patreon and support the channel, which is only $1. Sacrifice that McChicken for extra quality content, my friend. But anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and remember to have an awesome day.